Hello, tarot friends. It's Jade here with Tarot Your Truth, and my channel is all about sharing my journey with the tarot. I've been into the tarot only for a few months, and I thought I would share, what I've been learning, how I've been learning it, and what's been working, what's not been working. And occasionally, when I get a new deck, an exciting new deck, I will do a deck walkthrough. So that's what this video is about today. It is my newly arrived Sola Busca tarot. This arrived yesterday, and other than just unwrapping it out of the plastic, I've not looked through the cards or the book really. I have been waiting until I had a few quiet moments to be able to do that uninterrupted, and yesterday that just wasn't possible. So I'm super excited to share this with you. This will be my first impressions, obviously, because I have not, as I said, I've not gone through them yet. So this is the box. It's a fairly substantial box. This is the Museum Quality Kit from Lo Scarabeo. And I'm super excited about this. The box, I've taken the cards and everything out just to make it easier, but the box is pretty cool. It opens up sort of hinge-like this way, and then the cards fit in there, and the book fit in there as well. I do like boxes like this. It's pretty unique. Anyway, so Lo Scarabeo. And as per usual, for Lo Scarabeo, there will be 6 different languages, including English. So that's the box. I'm just going to put that over to the side here. And let's take a look. So it comes with this book that sort of matches the, sorry, I'm just going to shift this over a bit. This book sort of matches the box. And it's, I don't know, I think 127 pages. And in terms of the English, there are about 41 pages. The book is a little bit disappointing. I didn't really go through it in detail, other than just to kind of see what it was about. There's some info in the front about what the deck, how the deck came about, and that kind of thing. A little bit of information about how things are, and what we've been able to, I say we, what the industry, I guess, has been able to ascertain as being true or not, I guess. So there's quite a bit about that. So we get, there's actually 19 pages of it, and then we get into the explanations for the major arcana. So this is the Fool, Triumph 0. And so there's basically two pages on the Fool, and then we get into Triumph 1, Triumph 2, on and on until number 21. So you'll see here these majors don't have very much explanation. There's only about half a page. And then when we get to, actually, sorry, before we go there, this deck is different than what we're used to seeing today for the tarot. Pamela Coleman Smith, did use the Sola Busca as inspiration for creating the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And in fact, you'll see as we go through that she pretty much lifted some of the artwork, and not just from this deck, but a few other decks, some of the Marseille decks. that are out there, as well as some artwork by Waterhouse. But in any case, I'm not throwing shade or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is. I understand she had a short timeline, but anyways, it's just kind of an interesting thing. But for this deck, the majors are all based on Greco-Roman, mostly based on Greco-Roman, either mythology or actual people. For example, here, Triumph 13, which for us would be death, right? It is Marcus Porcius Cato Ulticensis, who lived in 95 to 46 before Christ. And then tells you a little bit about that person. So I guess by reading this, you can figure out what that card is supposed to mean, maybe at that time, at least as far as we can, within our own experience. I guess there's no way that we can absolutely know what was intended for these cards to mean at that particular time, because obviously it's been almost 1,500 years since this deck was created, and a lot of things have changed, including the meanings for the cards. So we get to the okay. They actually do have another little section then. I thought they were just going into the minors, but they actually do have another little section about the majors, where they actually tie each of those triumphs to what we would see today, I guess. So there's a little bit of explanation. That's kind of cool. I like that. And then we get to the minors, and in terms of the minors, and the court cards even, there's just a running list of what things can mean. I guess this is more of a numerology sort of bent, court figures, typical information that we'd see even today. And then the suits. So the suits here are the wands, the chalices, the batons, the cups, the coins, and the swords, which today I guess would correspond to those other items. And that's it. And then we get into the Italian version. I do find it interesting that although Lo Scarabeo is in Italy, English is always first. I guess it's a function of just where, what language of clients that they have the most, I guess. Anyway, so that's kind of interesting. I am looking forward to going through this book and with each of the cards, reading about the specific card and then reading what they say in the descriptions. So that is it. It's a little bit disappointing. I have to say, I would have hoped that in a museum kit like this that there would be much more of an explanation, but we'll see. I'm not really basing that on anything. I'm going to be going through that anyways, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it later. This is the backs of the cards. I quite like it. It's I quite like those colors. So let's flip these around. Upside down. They are very slippery. They are glossy. You can kind of see the gloss there. Not too bad, but they are pretty slippery, which is good. They don't stick at all, which is very nice. The cards are quite large, so they're larger than a typical tarot card that we see. I think at least an inch, maybe an inch taller, and definitely wider. Let's see if I have a regular one here. Just bear with me for 1 second. So I have my Tarot Muha here. So there we go. So just a little bit, just about maybe a 1/4 inch, 5 millimeters larger in width, and then about 30 millimeters or so, just over an inch on the top. Maybe that is an inch, so 25 millimeters, somewhere around there. So quite a bit bigger. I don't mind. My Visconti Sforza is actually bigger than this, so I'm all right with that. I'm gonna adjust lighting here. It's a dreary fall day here, and the lighting is terrible. I have a ring light, and I don't want it to cast a glare. There we go. All right, we'll stick with this and see how this goes. All right, so we'll just start from the top. I guess this is supposed to be someone who corresponds with the Fool of today. I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough. I love the colors. I just love the richness of it. I love the real faces in this. I haven't looked through this particular deck. I've seen photos of all of the cards on Pinterest. And that is one of the things, remembering my ancient Roman history. That is one of the things that the Romans did. So if you look at Greek art and Greek statues and whatnot, the features of people are very, they're all perfect, right? They have no blemishes, nothing like that. The Romans came along, and their artwork sort of depicted people as is, with every wart and wrinkle that they had. They would immortalize that as well. So for example, here you could see his crooked nose. I don't know if he's Roman, but in any case, so that's a disturbing image. Oops. Cards are a little bit staticky right now. Okay, so these cards have I guess the majors all have the number somewhere. There's 10, which today would correspond with the wheel. 11. I just love all these rich colors. I love this artwork. 13, so corresponding with death. Kind of makes sense. Bit of a disturbing image there. 14. And here again, they've gone with instead of, the more typical Roman numerals being with 4 being IV, they've just gone with 4 ones. 15. 16. 17. It's interesting, like I guess I recreated, exactly what the current deck looks like, maybe. Interesting. 19. 20. I don't really get that image. I don't know what's happening here. And 21. This dragon wrapped around the world. Interesting. Okay. So this looks like the Ace of Cups to me. The Two of Cups with the little cherub. Three of Cups. These are just gorgeous. Oops. Four of Cups. Five of Cups. His pants are really falling down there. Six of Cups. Seven of Cups. Eight of Cups. Nine of Cups. Merman. 10 of Cups. Oh, I didn't notice there's a little number on them. So if we go back, there's 9, there's 10, there's 8. That's helpful. So this is number 11, which I would say corresponds to the Page of Cups. Even just guessing from how young that person looks. The Knight of Cups is number 12. That makes sense. The Queen of Cups is number 13. Also makes sense. And the King of Cups is number 14. Okay. So that's cool. That's pretty, you can tell pretty quickly what they are supposed to be. So even if you don't want to correspond the tarot to what the original meanings were and just wanted to use it as a, according to today's sort of meanings, I'm guessing it probably wouldn't be that really that different to do. If people can read, can do cartomancy and read just a regular playing card which has nothing, I don't really see a reason why you couldn't do the same with these. Anyway, so Ace of Coins is my guess. Yeah. Two of Coins. Again, the crooked Roman noses. For some reason, I escaped that. Well, I haven't escaped it. I escaped it by birth, I guess, but I did do martial arts, Taekwondo for a few years, and at one point I got distracted while I was sparring and did have a broken nose. So I have a bit of a bump. Okay, so this is the Four of Coins. See what I mean about, it's not perfect body image as governed by today. Back then, having a little bit of meat on your bones was actually seen as very as beautiful. Six of Coins. This reminds me more of the Eight of Coins in today's RWS, right? The master working. Interesting. Okay. Seven of Coins. All right. Eight of Coins. That's interesting with the skull on the bottom. Nine of Coins. Wow, he's really struggling. He's set himself on fire. Burning up all the money. The Ten of Coins. It's got them all. The guard dog there. The Page of Coins. I like that. Knight of Coins. Again, it's a little bit different than today, isn't it? In today's, or more more modern decks, the Knight of Coins is typically either standing on the ground with his horse beside him, or his horse has all 4 feet on the ground, showing, you know, he's solid, he's not moving. This guy is definitely galloping somewhere, going to make the money. The Queen of Coins. Don't know what she's doing there, holding up her crown. And the King of Coins. We get to the wands or batons. That's the ace. That's cool. That's coming out of some armor. I apologize if I'm shaking things up. I keep knocking the stand here. Let's see if I can. Okay, this is the 2. It's a little bit of a disturbing image. 3 of Wands. Another disturbing image, but very different again than what you see today. A 4 of Wands, or batons. 5 of batons. 6 of batons. I don't know what's going on with all the all the pants, all the loincloths. 7 of batons. This suit seems to be all about weight, heavy burdens. The 8 of batons. The 9 of batons. The 10 of batons. Again, that's very different. We'll get to the swords, but that's, again, very different than today. Today's 10, where it typically shows something to the effect of a man struggling to carry his load of 10 batons, and we'll see here when we get to the 10 of swords that is actually originally the 10 of swords. That was the page. Here's the so here's the knight. He just looks like he's scolding someone. That makes me laugh. Queen of Wands. The King of Wands. Okay, so we get to the swords. This is the Ace of Swords. I'm not sure what's happening here. This sort of looks like I don't know if it's one person in front of the other. This is this guy protecting this guy. Interesting. Are they arguing for the sword? I'm really interested in reading the history about this. There is a book called The Game of Saturn that specifically talks about this deck, but I haven't purchased it. It is very expensive. Okay, so the 3 of Swords. You can see here where Pixie got her inspiration, I guess, but with the exception of what's going on down here, it's pretty well that card, 3 of Swords card in the RWS deck. The 4 of Swords, the 5 of Swords. It's interesting, they're all sticking out the bottom. 6 of Swords. Guys, struggling to carry all those. 7 of Swords. Some of their poses are quite interesting in this deck. 8 of Swords. The 9 of Swords. The penultimate card. And the 10 of Swords. And this is the card that Pixie chose to be the 10 of Wands, right? Same guy who's struggling to carry. One difference seems to be here. He's not as hunched over. and out of balance as the typical Rider-Waite-Smith 10 of Wands guy is. The Page of Swords, the Knight of Swords. This horse looks like he's posing. He doesn't look like he's actually moving, although he has one leg up in the air. I don't know what he's beating at, but Queen of Swords. I love this. Love this card. I just adore the colors that they've used. I adore the artwork. And the King of Swords. Okay, and that's it. And this is just the cover card, or an extra card, as is usual for Lo Scarabeo. And that is it, my friends. Let's see how this shuffles. I'm gonna just back this up a little bit, just to give me more room here, because I will take that card off. So my hands are very, my hands are small. There's no way I can shuffle it this way. I'll probably shuffle it. Sorry, this is, I'm not sure how well this is gonna work. I'm gonna shuffle it something like this, maybe. I don't know. Sorry, my lights are in the way, but if I don't have those here, then can't see. I have seen some people shuffle these things, cards, something like this. I think I saw, oh boy, hope I'm not making anyone dizzy, but I have seen people do shuffle this way. These are still, they're not sticky, they're actually very slidey, but that is terrible. I'm gonna see if I can ruffle shuffle these once, and one time only. I don't think I can. I can't get my hands around them all. Okay, so that's not gonna work for me. Maybe you have bigger hands than I do. But what I do in this type of situation is, I'm gonna move these lights out of the way so it might get a bit darker. Hopefully not too bad. I'll move these crystals. So what I do in this type of situation, when I can't shuffle this, I just make a bunch of piles. I'm just gonna do 4 in this case, but usually I do, 8 or 9 piles, and I just randomly distribute. I just randomly distribute the cards if I can't shuffle them, and I might do that a couple of times. I know some people just put them down and then, sort of just rub them around. I'm not a huge fan of doing that. I don't think about it too much about where I'm putting the card. I just shuffle them, and then in the end, just put them all together. And so that randomizes them a little bit. It takes, especially for the first time, it will take quite a bit. One of the things I didn't mention, I know the previous version did not have rounded corners. I do like the rounded corners. It is a little bit, some people can find it distracting because there's a border which clearly has square corners. I'm okay with it, and mostly because the rounded corners will protect the cards a little bit more than if the corners were squared. So from that perspective, I do like it. Let me know, do you have this deck? Do you like it? What do you think of the guidebook? Have you used this for readings? I've been reading on Facebook that some people don't use this deck for reading, just for learning purposes, or some people use it for political readings only. I'm curious. Let me know down in the comments below. Let me know how you work with this deck. How do you find working with this deck? Does it really mess with your head that some of the cards are like the Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands, are different than, you know, they're kind of opposite from today's or more modern RWS or more modern tarot systems. I'm curious how people will use it. I will definitely try to use it for readings. I'm going to study the book first and see what else I can read about it. I have been looking at some websites already about this deck. The Queen's Sword is one. It had some quite interesting information. But yeah, until next time, you know, I will definitely report back. But until next time, my friends, tarot your truth. Bye-bye.